Thank you very much. And I guess I have to start an apology to Mick, for I'm about to talk about an app for half an hour. So you're getting away at a good time whilst I talk about technology. First of all, it's a big thank you for having me today, and a big thank you to NACCC to ask me to sponsor today and to speak to you about our new program, Our Family Wizard. For those of you who are not familiar, Our Family Wizard is a co-parenting communication app. It is a place for parents going through divorce and separation to communicate through during their proceedings. It has a whole bunch of features that allow the parents to have that communication and have it all placed in one place, nice and safe and secure. Now, Our Family Wizard has been running for nearly 20 years. It started back in Minneapolis in America. And in the 20 years that it's been running, it's been court-ordered in all 50 states of America, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. It is completely synonymous with family law out in America. We have only been a UK entity for about 2 years. And for the majority of that time, we were just setting things up, building up a database, making sure we were GDPR compliant, that kind of thing. We've been on the ground here for about a year, and in that time, we've been court-ordered by judges all around the country, and we're being put into agreements by people like yourselves all over the country every single day. So, back in 2001, when we started, we did a pilot project with the Honourable Judge James Swenson. He put his highest conflict 50 cases onto Our Family Wizard, and this is what he came back and said to us. Now, the program was built with the child at heart, the reason we're all here. They are the person who is suffering the most when divorce and separation gets difficult, when it gets sticky, and when the child has to get involved, that is when it gets emotional and difficult. The program, as Judge Swenson says, is helping everyone involved, the child, the family, and in turn, we are reducing the amount of conflict appearing regularly in court. We also have a quote here from the judge, Honourable Diana Bryant, who is a judge from Australia. And one thing she notes here, she says, "I wish this was available when I was practicing a family lawyer." I was fortunate enough to meet Judge Bryant a few months ago, and she compared us to a digital version of the old-fashioned contact book, a black and white book where the information was put in pen and paper, passed between the child, back to the mother, through to grandma, through to the dog walker. It's got pages ripped out, handwritten things torn apart. We are an instant digital recorded version of that. Why text and emails aren't enough? Our Family Wizard provides a whole bunch of tool sets that are instant and digital, far more capable than text and email. One thing to note is with modern technology, it is very, very, very scary how easy it is to manipulate communication. Try it during your lunch break. Go on your phone, go onto Google and search for something like make up a text. About 100 websites will appear where it'll make it look like someone sent you a text from their phone number to your phone number that they never sent. That is free, instant, and available to anyone online, and a very small example of how communication can be manipulated. Google Calendar Mail, you can edit events in the past that had happened to make it look like something didn't happen without leaving a footprint. It is scary, but that is where we are in the world. With Our Family Wizard, none of that is possible. Hopefully, I'll show you how. So, we have a full suite of tools available. We have the calendar where parents can put in a shared schedule, a message board where they can send each other direct messages, an expense log where they can create and pay back reimbursements for the child, an information bank to store information about the child like school reports and medication, and a journal feature where they can put in memories. There is also professional access available, which I'll come to a little bit later on. This is the homepage for the parents. This is what they'll see when they first subscribe and log in. They have a shortcut button at the homepage at the top, and they can view all the information about themselves at the top right. Here we have our little key, the family we've got involved. Now, we've got a little example set up for you here. We've got Emma in purple, Sam in blue. They are our parents in this particular example. They are the only people who are paying to use Our Family Wizard. The program costs £79 per year per parent. However, if they can't afford that, if you do pro bono work, if they're on government benefits, welfare, legal aid, if there's any of that left, financial aid, some sort of financial hardship, then they can use Our Family Wizard completely free of charge. I will come to that in more detail later on. Now, one thing to know, underneath Emma and Sam's name, we have a date and a time. That is the last time they've logged into Our Family Wizard, whether that's on their phone, their laptop, their iPad. Every single time they log in, it will leave a timestamp, a date and a time. That information can't be deleted or changed by us or by the parents. We also have Neil in green. Now, Neil is the child in this example. The child can have an account on Our Family Wizard. It is free and it has extremely limited access. The child can only direct message parents that they have been given access and permission to, and they can only see events in the calendar that are in relation to them. Who's picking me up from school? Who's dropping me off at the centre? Whatever it might be, the child can see that. That is it. They can't see what mum and dad are saying to each other. They can't see what the expenses are. That is all they can see. We also have Tula in orange. Now, Tula could be anyone, a grandma, a dog walker, a babysitter, a guardian, a safeguarding officer. It's what we call third-party accounts. They have the same access as a child, very limited, and they're also free, and you can have as many of those as you like. If they are involved in the child's life, they can be involved in Our Family Wizard. We also have the notification center on the homepage. Notifications can be personalized in a bunch of different ways. Most people choose to have the app on their phone, where they can, when they get a notification, they can act on it as they like. Now, as with all apps, you can get a notification and go, oh, I don't want to deal with that right now, I don't want to read that. Swipe left, click on clear, get rid of it, forget about it. Actually, every single time they log into Our Family Wizard, whether that's on their phone or their laptop, they are reminded of any active notifications on the homepage. It's the first thing they see. So they cannot say to you, I never saw that message, or I don't remember getting that message. You can see when they last logged in and when they checked that email. We are also available in all formats, iPhone, Android, everywhere you can find. This is our message board. We like to think of it as a slightly more informal version of email, but a familiar format when sending messages is necessary. The main difference from normal email, the timestamping. Who sent this message? On what date? At what time? Who first read this message? On what date? At what time? That information won't be changed, deleted, or removed by anyone. This is what it looks like when you are writing a message. This includes one of our unique features to Our Family Wizard. It's called Tomita. Tomita is like a spell check for your emotions. So, if you are writing something horrible on the message board, Tomita will tell you that that phrase you have written might cause some offense. I know you'll say it's your fault. That could be aggressive. Don't be late as usual. Humiliating. Can you at least manage that? It's upsetting. It picks up on the passive-aggressive tone. Now, the recipient parent doesn't get a message saying, you've just got a new aggressive message. It doesn't stop them from sending the message as it is, and it doesn't offer an alternative phrase to change it into. It just gives them an initial opportunity to say what you've written is emotionally charged. You will all know this better than me. The emotional message happens after something bad has happened, and before we had modern technology, they would have time to sleep on it or speak to a friend. Now, in a world where everything is instant and everything is digital, and something bad happens, they can straight away become keyboard warriors. This is our digital version of that filter. It was written for us by a team of psychiatrists, and it works as an algorithm. So it will pick up on the tone of the phrase rather than just a bad word. We like to swear in the UK. If we use a sentence with a swear word in, but in a positive light, Tomita will know that, and it won't pick up on it. If you use that same swear word in a negative way, it will know as a sentence it's a negative phrase. Then all that information you've seen about the messaging, who sent it, what date, what time, the parents or the legal representatives or people like yourselves can turn this information into court-admissible reports instantly. This means that the legal representative doesn't have to sift through 100 emails they've been CC'd into with screenshots of WhatsApps and Facebooks and whatever it is. If they are needing to make all this information instantly, they can do it for free anytime through the app. This is our shared calendar. Again, it is color-coded, so we know purple is one of mum's days, green is one of dad's, and then you can input separate events amending the parenting schedule. So when they first subscribe, they go through some basic steps and they input this parenting schedule. You can do this with them when you're sat with them in a contact center, and you can talk them through this process in agreement with what you have. It sets it out for as long as you like. You could do it for a year, you could do it for a month. That is then in the calendar permanently where you can make changes to it. If you then wanted to add holidays at an extended period of time away from the parenting schedule, you can do that on the system too, and then you can get a nice yearly view. That yearly view is the overnight stays. So if you wanted to count how many times the child is spending overnight with a parent, you can do that here too. You can then make events on top of the calendar that appear color-coded automatically. So let's say, for example, we've got a birthday party and we're going to take the child to the birthday party. 6 p.m., that's highlighted purple, so that's mum. 9 p.m., that's highlighted blue, that's dad. That means mum is doing the drop-off, dad is doing the pickup. All the information appears on the calendar through the color coding, and they don't have to send those long-winded back and forward messages, probably having to call you guys to interfere. It doesn't need to happen anymore. All the information about that event, who created it, on what date, at what time, that will always be there too. We also offer a feature that allows them to trade or swap the allocation of the time spent with the child. To make this very clear, they are not swapping the child. They are swapping their allocation of responsibility of the child. We make this very clear when they're doing this process. This is essentially an equivalent of saying, can I take the child for swimming lessons on Saturday? But Saturday's my day, you can't have the child on Saturday. Well, if I take the child on Saturday, in return, you could take him after school on Tuesday, which is one of my days. That long-winded conversation that takes weeks to resolve is what we're essentially resolving here. So they put in the information, it can't be longer than 48 hours away. The date, the time, all that information is there. If it is a trade, you can then offer the alternative dates. The recipient parent will then receive this with the opportunity to approve it, and if they do approve it, it will automatically change it in the calendar so they don't have to go through and manually do it themselves. Refuse. Keep in mind, if you have one parent that is clicking refuse for everything, the system makes a note of it. It will say they logged in on this date at this time, they refused this request. If that is why they are arguing, you have the evidence you will need. Or refuse and make a counteroffer, which is essentially saying, yes, I'm fine for you to have the child for swimming lessons on Saturday, but I can't do after school on Tuesday. Could I do after school on Thursday? Something like that. Once done, it will go into the calendar. You can get a nice breakdown of all this information, the date, the time, who, when. That will never change. And as I said, those colors will change quickly in the calendar straight away. As before with our messaging, you can make court-admissible reports of these events as well, if needs be, and they are at your discretion. So if you wanted to make a report of just one event, you can do that. If you wanted to make a report of every single event that's happened in the calendar, you have the option to do that as well. Now, we have a brand new feature in our program. It's only been released for about 3 weeks. It is called our Moments. It features in our journal, which is like a diary entry system. But what we've done is added Moments. Moments works as an isolated version of social media, but it's very specific for the family. So let's say mum takes the child for swimming lessons and she wants to upload some pictures. Instead of putting them on Facebook and Instagram and all these other places, she can upload it to our family wizard and choose who sees it. Who can see this picture and when. When they do see it, it will timestamp it. This picture was seen on this date at this time by this parent. So they can still upload that information. They can still be social. They can still do statuses and pictures and enjoy each other's company without the bombardment of what Facebook and Instagram is damaging families as it stands at the moment. We can put in dates, locations. You can also geotag location. So let's say mum has taken the child to the zoo at 2 o'clock on Saturday. On 2 o'clock on Saturday, mum can drop a pin in her map of where she is in that precise location, and that will appear in the Moments. That information can't be changed. You can't track someone else's movements, and you can only drop a pin of your precise location. That's essentially saying, yes, look, I was in the right place at the right time. Here's my evidence. It is fully private and GDPR compliant, and it does not allow the other parent to see each other's movements. If you click on the map, it doesn't show you where the other parent is moving. It just shows them their location on that date at that time. You can also add private moments. So if, for example, you wanted to do a breakdown of what's happened that day, you can do that here too. As before, with all our other features, you can make a report of this information as and when you need. This is our information bank. This is where you can store information about the child. I'll give you a couple of examples. Family vitals. This is where you can store information like shoe size, shirt size. You can do health, for example, so you can do medication, what kind of allergies they have. All that information can go in the system. We also have My Files. Now, this is a place to store physical documents in the system, things like school reports, things like receipts, pictures. They can all go in here. They'll be permanently stored. It will mark it, which parent has uploaded that information, and you can get a nice breakdown of what type of document it is. This is our expense log, and this is where you can create and pay back reimbursements for the child. Again, it's color-coded, so we know purple is one of mum's payments and blue is one of dad's, and it automatically accumulates at the bottom who's paid what towards the child since using the program. It's very simple to add a new expense request. You would just follow through these steps: the title, the date, the category. This is one category we have as an example of a 50-50. If you have a really unique family where dad has agreed to pay 82% and mum is paying 18%, you can add a separate category that will appear on the drop-down here too. And then you can upload a receipt for that payment. So you can take a photo straight away. That will automatically be stored in the My Files section of the information bank, or you can choose a photo that you've already taken and upload it as a receipt. The recipient parent will then receive this, approve or refuse. As before, if they click refuse, the system will make a note of it every time. Once approved, that transaction will be pending, and only once the parent has the money in their account will it be completed and confirmed. And again, as before, you can get a nice detailed breakdown of all the information: who, where, when. If they try and put in a fake "you owe me £30," you can see when they've tried to do that in agreement with who's paying what. And you can get a far more detailed breakdown of the reports for expenses. So you can do transactional, you can do statistical, you can do all sorts of different reports at your discretion, whatever you would prefer. The parents also have access to their own IP address history, not each other's, just their own. And that's just a record to say, oh yes, I sent this message here, I sent this message on this date and time. If they try to say to you, oh, I don't remember sending that message, here's your evidence. Why choose our Family Wizard? Well, one of the things we have available to our program is something called professional access. So, on top of the family accounts, there are what's called professional access. Now, this would be what you can use. It is completely free of charge. It will never cost you anything. What you do is you log in and link into a family that has given you access. So if you are working with a family, it allows you to overview their activity to see what they're doing. You can control your inbox, so you're not getting bombarded with all these emails saying, can you believe what he said to me? Can you believe what she did today? It's all in the program, all in one place. You can provide support when needed, so if you do need to send a message on the program, you can do that. If you need to confirm an event with them, you can see that clearly too. You can see the whole picture. So you are no longer saying, he said this, she said that, drop-off was this time, pick-up was this time. Everything is very clear. You can't lie, and you can't win through being false. And you can have the straightforward and simple reporting, as I've mentioned. It's free to use, app, Android, all over the place. So once you're in there, you have two different ways to get the ball rolling. If a family have already subscribed, they've paid their £79, or they're using it through scholarship, then you can ask for professional access. What you would do is you would put in their name and their email. They would then get an email saying, your professional, Mrs. Smith, has requested professional access to your account. They then grant you that professional access, and once you're in, you can view their activity. Or you can get the ball rolling for them. So you can add a new family. They will then get an email saying, your professional, Mrs. Smith, has requested you join our Family Wizard. They get a username and password, and with that, they get 2 free logins. Essentially, that allows them to try it out, see what it's like, have a go, and then if they like it, they can pay. If after 30 days of paying, they don't want to use it anymore, they can call us up and they can get their money back, no questions asked. Once they are linked into their family, they enter what's called client view mode. Now, this is essentially like a ghost mode, if you like, a bird's eye view. Essentially, you as the professional can see absolutely everything the same as what your client can see, your family member can see, but you do not interfere with the data, meaning you won't change the timestamping. If you were to read a message on the message board that was unread by that client or by that family member, it would remain unread for them until they themselves read it. It allows you complete transparency and clarity of what's going on in the family. Security is by far and away the most important thing for us. It's the reason we've been going for so long and why we're so well recognized around the world. Our parent company in America is called Avarat, and they make the security for the online banks in America. I won't bore you with all the technical specs of it. If you'd like to know more, I'm at the back, so you can ask me. I can confirm we are fully GDPR compliant and have a compliancy form if you'd like to see it. Now, this document here is what's called our draft order language. We've been court-ordered by judges all around the country, but more often than not, we're being stipulated to in an agreement that is drafted up by any professional working with a family. I have copies of this at the back as well if you'd like. So I'll just show you quickly a couple of highlights. So you can provide a deadline. You can say to the parent, you're going to start using our Family Wizard within 10 days of this order. Meaning if you have one who really wants to use it and one who doesn't because they're going to get caught out, this just gets the ball rolling for both of them. You can provide exclusive communication, so all communication regarding the child arrangements will happen through the program. Meaning if they're currently using WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all the communication about the child happens in our Family Wizard. That doesn't mean they have to stop using those social medias, but it means that if it's about the child, it's all in one place. You can memorialize the reimbursements and payments, so every single time there's a payment made about the child, you can log it in the system. Meaning if there's a query 3-4 years down the line, you owe me £50 for this, you owe me £20 for that, there's a permanent record of it in the system. You can also limit the messaging. Now, if you have a particular case where there is a non-contact order, a molestation order, harassment order, something whereby parent A is not allowed direct contact with parent B, what you could do in this section is you could say something like, parent A will not use the message board. They can still be involved. They're still involved in the child's life. They're still seeing the calendar, the expense log, the information, the moments. They are still in the co-parenting existence, but they are not having direct contact. Or you can get more specific. Parent A will only send 10 messages a week, or messages that are no longer than 30 words long. It's up to you, but we do allow that through that order language. And lastly, you can put yourself in the order just to confirm that your client or your family will accept you as a professional if necessary. So as I mentioned, the program is available for free for families who need it. There is a scholarship program, and I have copies of this at the back as well if you'd like. So there's 2 different ways to do this, and I appreciate it's lunchtime, so I'm rattling through. Parents themselves can subscribe. They would go through steps 1 and 2. They would then send this document back to us with some sort of attachment and evidence, proof of their welfare benefit, whatever it is. They would get their account for free. Or you, as their legal professional or representative, can apply for them. You would fill out steps 1 and 3 of this document. You wouldn't need to attach anything. We'd trust you, take your word for it, and they would get a free account. So if you don't think they can afford to pay that £79 for whatever reason, they don't have to. Divorce is not exclusive to people who can afford it. These are not government funded. We do this because we know that. We are a family company. There shouldn't be a limit on it because of the finances. We are also available 2 for 1 for any active or retired members of the armed forces. These numbers continue to grow of the amount of free accounts that we are letting people have every year, and this is going to continue to grow. That's our customer support line. Everyone says their customer support's amazing. Our customer support's amazing. As part of my training for this role, I went out to America for 2 months, which was absolutely wonderful. And I did customer support for the first 3 weeks. They will spend 6 hours on the phone with one person, talking them through everything I've just done with you. What they won't do is if you call them up and say, he's just said this to me on the message board, can I use this in court, or is this legal? We do not answer that. We provide no legal advice. We provide communication and technology advice. But our customer support team is incredible. Now, we also offer, because we are still new to the UK, a complimentary first free family. So if you have a family, if you're sitting here with a family in mind, you think this would actually be really, really beneficial for, they can get it for free as a first trial. And this is for each of you as individuals, not as different centres. That's the information you'll need to, to do it out. You simply just email me and we set up those accounts, and they are completely up to you as and when you use those free accounts. That's just about it from me. I'm at the back. I have hard copies of all the information you need. I'm available anytime to come and visit your centre, give you the full tutorial, answer any questions you have, and set you up with your first free families. Thank you very much again for having me, and have a lovely lunch.